everyone, it's Lucas with another Big Brother Spoilers intro. Today's guest is Kyland Young for Big Brother 23, a player whose season is still remembered to have one of the most impactful alliances in reality TV history in the Cookout, and one of the most dramatic exits we've ever seen. It's been 4 years since Kyland played, and a lot has happened since then. In this interview, Kyland reflects on his Big Brother journey, from the moves he's proud of to the decisions he might want to change to that unforgettable eviction night with Xavier. We get into how he views the Cookout today, how BB23 stacks up against other seasons, and whether he regrets not taking the shot at the eventual winner. We also dive deep into Big Brother 27, where Kyland shares his favorite house guests, his thoughts on Rachel Riley's big return, and what he makes of the blockbuster twists. He reveals which players remind him of his own season, who he'd want to align with if he were in the house right now, and who he's pulling for to win it all. But that's just a part of the story. Kyland also is talking about his growing reality TV resume outside of Big Brother. From competing on The Challenge to his upcoming run on Amazing Race 38 alongside Taylor Hale, he gives us a sneak peek as to what fans can expect, what it was like preparing for a completely different kind of competition, and whether we'll see him return to reality TV soon again. We also touch on some fun extras, from swimming and fitness to which of his BB23 castmates he still keeps in touch with to who he'd love to see make a return. This one covers it all: strategy, twists, rivalries, future projects, and some behind-the-scenes insights you won't want to miss. Let's get into it.
Kyland, I'm so excited to talk to you. It's been 4 years since Big Brother 23. So how has life been for you since leaving the Big Brother house?
Life's been interesting, for sure. I feel like when I started Big Brother, my intention was just to go back to work after I was in corporate for almost 10 years before I did Big Brother. But then I finished, I had so much fun, and then I started to learn about different opportunities, and even talked to my old boss, and he agreed. He's like, you should try and see what opportunities there are, and especially if this is something you enjoy. And so I did, and I reached out to some of the people from Big Brother, the alum, and they were super helpful in figuring out different opportunities. And then I was fortunate enough to get the call for the challenge. At first it was a Challenge USA on CBS, and then I had to do 2 seasons of the challenge on MTV, and really loved that. And then this year I ended up doing the Amazing Race, and that comes out on September 25th. So I've just been really fortunate to keep getting these opportunities, and I'm so thankful, and I love it. And then I'm able to that's only a couple months out of the year, so all the seasons, all the months that I'm not filming, I've been able to work on different content and partnerships. And now I've started to do some speaking events, and I'm really excited just for more opportunities to come, and grateful. And just wanting to, I'm just grateful for the opportunities, and I'm looking forward to seeing, where all things go from here.
Yeah, so the past 4 years, I imagine, have flown by, but what was the most challenging part of getting back into normal life after the show?
Immediately after or over time?
Either or.
Well, immediately after, I say the biggest thing is just adjusting, because to being in the public eye in a way, on the one hand, it's so micro, because it's most of the world doesn't know what Big Brother is. But then but at the same time, it's millions of people who do. So it's a very interesting mix of notability, because it's on the scale of the world, it's 0 still, effectively. But on the scale of in the States, it's still a few percentage of the world. But so you encounter people that, I'll meet a group of 10 people, and 2 of them are oh, it's Kyland from Big Brother. And then 6 of them are what's Big Brother? And it's and for us, it really happens overnight, because you go into the house and you give up your phone for 3 months, and then you come back out, and everyone else has been, that grew over time. I think I had maybe 1,000 followers, if that, on Instagram before I went in. And I come out, and then, is exponentially higher and growing. And I don't know, I think that was just such an interesting aspect of how instant it is. And also because people spent so much time with you, people that are watching, they spent months watching you, and they really feel a deep sense of connection. And it's you're grateful, but then you're also trying to maintain your privacy, your discretion, and yeah, it's just something to learn. And it's also like, were human beings even made to interact with this many people? I don't know what they were, but at the same time, like, it is so fortunate because you have, especially for me, I'm able to have so many people that feel represented, see some form of themselves in me, and it's meaningful to them. And that's like such an honor to be able to do that. So I think it's just adjusting to that part of it. And then just being accepting of it too. Cause it's like, in the same way someone can put like so much of their positive hopes and everything into you, they could also like, put you in a light where they you represent negative things to them. And that's unfortunate because like, you never want to, open up somebody's pain, but fortunately the way I'm built is that like, I have such grace and compassion for that. And so, I think it was a surprise, but it's, and it's just continued to be more of that over time. And yeah, it just is all, it's just all such an interesting experience.
And speaking of interacting with the fans, we met, I believe it was at the 26th premiere party. You were there last year at Oz's party?
Yeah. Wait, the premiere in New York.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was 25 or 26 that we met at.
I think it was 26 in New York. If it was in New York at the place where it was raining on the rooftop.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember me, Taylor, Jag, and a few other people end up getting stuck in an elevator for almost the entire episode.
Yeah.
So fun times.
But I was going to ask that I heard that you were there this year. You were there the night before, but you weren't there the premiere night. I was looking for you in the premiere and I didn't see you.
I know. Yeah. Unfortunately, I had other obligations, so I wasn't able to stay in New York. But like last minute, I was able to make it out for the first night because Ozzy, I love that she kind of creates an event, so it's not just the premiere. And the night before, she had the karaoke lip sync event. And that was a lot of fun. I was just glad to be a part of it. But yeah, I was sad to miss people who only made it to the premiere like yourself. And so, but hopefully another time I can make it for both.
So let's get into this season. How have you been liking the season? Who are your favorite house guests? Tell me all your thoughts on the current season.
Wow. I've had so many thoughts on the current season. And honestly, this is the first season I've watched because I love Big Brother. It is such it's like probably the most fascinating game to me. And I'm so thankful for my experience. It was also, in a way, very traumatizing. And I think that's true for a lot of the house guests. And like I said, a net positive, but I noticed I had to distance a little bit. Like I was able to watch episodes, but like not consistently. Like it kind of triggered something a little bit, or activated something emotional a little bit that was uncomfortable enough that like I couldn't really watch consistently in the seasons after mine. And this has been the first year where I feel like there was enough distance, enough healing that I could really like get back to fully enjoying this game that I love. And so I started watching like from the premiere and have been keeping up and not on the live feeds just for so many reasons. But yeah, keeping up with the game. And that's been really fun and exciting, and chatting on there's like a group chat app, the Chat BCC, where like there's like 30 something alumni and we DM and 30,000 fans or something like that are DMing as well. And so that's been really fun to like just engage with the community. And yeah, so I think that in general has been really exciting for me. And then the gameplay this season is interesting. I am personally not a fan of putting veteran players with newbie players, especially an individual one, but really in general, because it's just such an event. I mean, we saw it with, both, 11 or 14 with Dan, and then 18 with Nicole and James. Like the veterans just have such an insane advantage that they will go very far in the game. And we realized that being in the house, our week one, I remember we sat around thinking that we're like, if you spent 1 week in here, you are miles ahead. And I think that you put in someone like a winner, like Rachel, and who has so much like gravitas around her too. Like she's a legend in the space. So you have, just such a shift to the game, because the game is supposed to be these strangers that don't all know each other, at least in my view. So on a personal level, I actually got to know Rachel, got to meet her and Brendan a few times, and really, really loved like her. She's just such like, and I, as somebody who like, I wasn't a big fan of her on her seasons. I watched them late. Like I came to the show, season 20 was my first season, so 2018. But I went back and was watching old seasons, and I was like, oh, I'm not really a fan, but like, but I can respect a win either way. But then I met her in person. Just she's so wonderful as a human being in so many ways, and so I really felt conflicted watching because I was like, on principle, I don't like this concept, but as a on a personal level, I like it. But so I tried to remove her from my equation early on and was like, okay, who am I cheering for? Not counting a veteran who I know and have a relationship with, even on a small level. And so I went to Keanu early on, and then really quickly, like when he was just like, I'm taking you out one by one, I was like, oh my gosh, my guy. Like, and I did appreciate that he acknowledged it being a strategy. I don't think it was a good strategy, but he's able to back it up, as we've seen with him surviving so many of these vetoes and blockbusters and still in the house. What are we, 2 weeks out from finale or 2.5 weeks out? So he backed it up. So like more power to him. I think the what's it called? There's a I'm trying to think. And yeah, outside that, and I've seen Vince and Morgan both have really like significant gameplay. Like when I look at the house right now, I mean, I really just look at those three names as people. I'm like, unless I see something really significant from the other players, like I wouldn't really feel great seeing any of the anyone else besides them as the winner this season. But I'm always open to see, especially if someone can articulate their gameplay really well at the end. I think that's really important, is like, can you articulate what you're doing that got you to the end? Because sometimes it's like, if you're just surviving, then and not even through your own actions, but just because the game's happening around you. I remember SB in my season during the roundtable said a statement that I really like. She's like, there's a difference between getting to the end of the game and getting to the end of the game with a chance to win. And I feel that very strongly. And so that's why I think of those three for now. And we'll see what happens.
So how do you think that you would have navigated Rachel in the game? Would you have been someone like Zay who wanted to target her off the bat? Or would you have been like Ashley wanted to attach themselves to her?
Well, so I would like to say that I would be looking to remove her from the game. I think that like I said, if we're talking in a world where I am fresh to the house, I don't know anybody, then I do feel confident I would lean that way, only because I was not a big fan of her prior to meeting her. So I think that, not like I had any dislike for her, I didn't know her as a person, but as a game player, she wasn't somebody like I was like, oh, I'm stoked to play with her. So I do feel confident that I would be strong on that, similar to like Cody Nixon in 19 going after Paul. I think that that's just such a, and I feel like I get to speak with some authority on that, because I think that so many people say things that they would do, but they actually wouldn't operate differently in the environment. And having been in the environment, having already acted against the grain in my own season at times, like I think I feel confident that I would be able to do that and keep that resolve. And would I be able to get out? Who knows? We've seen some questionable gameplay from most of the players in this season. But I'd like to think that I would have been part of the campaign to get out early. Granted, could I have swayed people as well as as strongly as she could? I genuinely don't know. Like we've seen so many people are falling under the Rachel spell, even when they were saying, "Oh, we got to get out right away," and then all of a sudden you started seeing everybody like, "Well, you know what? Maybe I could use Rachel for my gameplay advantage." And then I was like, okay, I just heard 6 of you say that. So clearly none of you are really thinking this through, especially if you think you're the only one that is doing that. So it definitely got to the point at the end, like before her elimination. I feel like I do got to call it elimination instead of an eviction. She, I was like, I don't care to see anyone besides Rachel really win. However, I felt weird still, because I was like, I feel like I'm watching an NBA player dunk on college players right now. and it's just not even fair. So, but she's in there, and they had the opportunity to get out, and they haven't. So I guess it's on them. Yeah, I can tell you that I would have been extremely upset if she stayed in the game, was sitting in the final 2 chairs, and did not win. I don't even know what I would have done.
But speaking of not fair, what were your thoughts on Rachel's elimination from the game? Do you think that was fair? What are your thoughts?
I think on principle, I do not like a Big Brother player. On principle, I do not like a Big Brother player that is eliminated from the game without a vote. I think that the whole point of the game is to have this social dynamic, especially like I can understand a night one, like someone on night one being eliminated day one or day one. I think that happened once or twice. And I'm like, okay, they don't know each other. There hasn't been enough of that dynamic built yet. I get it. But beyond that, I personally can't support it. And I feel, once again, very confident that on principle, regardless of the outcome, if it was something, if it was the player I wanted out the most, or at least even if I was in the game, I know that I would be if I was against Rachel, I'd be like, hey, I am glad that my opponent is out. I'm not happy it happened this way, but I am happy that it happened. And I think that in all scenarios, I would maintain that. That's my little, annoyance with some of the fan base of the people who can't acknowledge how, they only feel a certain way based on if they like the outcome or not. So I do want to separate myself from that group. But so I don't love that side of it. But on the flip side, like she, at the end of the day, the game has twists. She had more of a fighting chance to save herself than someone who gets backdoored in a traditional season. So it is unfortunate, and I don't think they should have done it. But I think it's the game inherently will have parts of it that are unfair. That's just how the cookie crumbles, how the dice goes. And, we can complain about it, but that doesn't change anything. And like I said, also, it's frustrating when people complain about things super inconsistently. So I feel like that internally is also, that's something that I have in my mind that makes me, a little bit more hey, say la vie, it is what it is. But I understand, it sucks to have something unfair. I've had that happen to me in games. Some of these shows, I've had that happen to friends, and it sucks every time. But you also know going in that it's a possibility. So yeah, it's rough. It's bad luck.
So you wouldn't necessarily align with Rachel, but who do you think that you would have aligned with in this house?
Oh goodness, I don't know. I think that early on, at least, I really liked Morgan. I
heard you really liked Morgan.
Yeah, I thought that she was I thought she's a gamer. She's from California. That is connection. I think she's from Orange County or LA County, not too far away. And I love that she's a gamer and loves that gaming mentality. I've heard that she is a talker as well. So I think that we could relate on a lot of things. Yeah, she I think that, some of the Vince Morgan storyline stuff is overshadowing some of the gameplay. But at the end of the day, we've seen, not only is she still in the game, but she's made decisions. She's kept herself safe. She has also we've seen her convince people to sway a vote at times early on in the season. So I think that being able to document those moves is a big deal. So I'd like to think that may be someone. I'm trying to remember who was there early on. Maybe Will was just so chill. I think everybody loved Will. Or maybe a Zach early on. I feel like he might be a vibe. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. Adrian seems so sweet. So many people, and you just don't really know who you're going to connect with and how in the house. And the dynamic changes. Each person that you add into this house drastically, obviously Rachel probably monumentally, but everybody has an impact in what goes on in the house and how the game would have been. You change out one person for any season, and you have a whole different season, most likely. So I think that this is what I think, but who actually knows what it would be like if I was there.
Have you met any of the pre-jurors yet, or not yet?
I haven't met any yet. I've had an exchange of some messages with Adrian, and I think that's it so far. I think like I'm open to talking to any alumni. Like so many alumni have been so helpful to me. So like my door is open. Like I want to help anybody. The adjustment is such a weird, difficult thing. I also though don't mind like taking a back seat and letting the newer alum like take on more of that role and responsibility. Like I'm here if needed, but like if you want to hit up, you know, the people from 25, 26, I would not mind. And you know, so yeah, it is. I'm interested to meet the rest and celebrate with them. And like I said, I'm here if you need it. But I haven't gotten to talk to any others yet. Yeah.
And a lot of this cast isn't big fans of the show. They haven't really seen Rachel's seasons. How do you think this plays to Rachel's advantage, and how did it affect the gameplay?
I think if anything, it probably resulted in people having fewer opinions. I feel like that's what made it easier maybe for some of the players to fall in line with Rachel, is that like if they didn't know her gameplay, all they knew was that Rachel is one of the titans of the game. Like she's such a big name in the game of Big Brother. So if they didn't, so if that's their only opinion, then they're like, well, who am I to, you know, disagree with someone who's won the game, who is an icon? And I think that, you know, it's contributed to people falling in line. So I feel like that's probably one of the biggest factors.
And what do you think of the BB blockbuster? That was a twist that wasn't in play when you were playing. What do you think of that twist?
Well, I think the BB blockbuster AI Arena is probably the best twist added to the game. I think it should stay forever. I think they should run it at least like probably till Final 6 every season. At least to jury, but I'm fine with it running till Final 6 because it's just, it takes away, you know, a backdoor potential, I guess. But I think the backdoor strategy element is so much less interesting than everyone kind of being undecided when they're on eviction night. Like we've seen people stressing to make this decision rather than having all week to make it. And I feel like we've kind of hit this place in Big Brother where a lot of people don't use their speeches beforehand. And also maybe they don't have time but like, I feel like I don't see people really fighting in that up till the buzzer to save themselves with the speeches. So I'm like, okay, like so people are decided for the most part by the time we got to eviction night already, you know, days ahead, if not, I'm for our season, you know, way ahead. But for some of the more recent seasons. And I think it just adds such a unknown element for the fans. Like I'm excited. I'm like, I need to watch it live because I don't know who's going out. And I think that's really cool. And then I also think that the gameplay element is so uplifted because it's like you can't always vote with the house like ahead of time because you don't necessarily know what people are going to do. You don't know who's going to win. And you're afraid to share it because, you know, like people, information is power in the house. And so if I tell you like, hey, I'm going to vote out this person, but if they win the blockbuster, then I'm going to vote out this person. One of those two people whose names I just said are staying in the house no matter what. So someone now has that power to let people know like, hey, just so you know, you're here because you won the blockbuster, but Kyland was going to vote you out, or whoever was going to vote you out. And I think that adds like some more chaos to the game that I am a fan of.
And you mentioned you were a fan of Morgan. There were two interesting relationships in the house, one being Vince and Morgan still in the house, and then Riley and Catherine as well. I'm curious your thoughts on both of those relationships.
I really don't have any. And that's not like, I'm not trying to avoid controversy or anything like that. I don't follow the feeds. And I also just don't know people's situations. There's a quote in Oppenheimer. He says like, you know, to judge others' relationships is like childish and adolescent or something like that. It's like, or no, to pretend to understand the relationship of others is like, you know, childish and adolescent. So it's just like everyone has their own dynamics, and who am I to say, to take away someone else's autonomy and take away someone else's understanding? Like, I don't know people's situation. I'm not like other people's relationships really aren't my business, and I don't think they're anyone else's business too, to be honest. So I kind of just am like, hey, it's kind of between the people that are involved, and yeah, and things are complicated too. And I think just like everything else, Big Brother gives a lens to people in a pressure cooker, chaotic situation. And, you know, it always amazes me, but doesn't surprise me. It disheartens me, but doesn't surprise me how quick people are to place their judgments on others as if, like, you know, you put a camera on them for 24/7 for 3 months and, you know, people wouldn't have any issues with them. So, and the other thing that I find intriguing is how everyone kind of, you know, finds himself in a bubble on social media, and they think that everyone thinks the way they think. And I feel like by nature of being part of this fandom in a broad way, I will talk to people that are like, oh my gosh, this is the best player ever. And I'll see 10,000 people say that, and I'll see 10,000 people say this is the worst player ever, worst decision ever. And I'm just like, yeah, people feel differently about different things, and that's just what it is. And people seem to like put their blinders on, and we're so quick to like judge. And I don't know that overall, I'm just like, it's not my business.
So speaking of relationships, Taylor, she's on the BB Unlocked, the Friday episodes with Derek. Have you been watching those? And what are your thoughts on those episodes?
I am a big fan of Unlocked. Obviously, I would be biased because I'm so close to Taylor and love Derek as well. But I just think it's such a fun show. Like, I think that getting to meet some of the behind the scenes, like so many people come together for this show. And I've always wanted to see like a documentary almost on Big Brother being made, because these guys are putting together a show in real time. Like the next day, you know, it's like South Park had the 7 Day to Air video, movie that I thought was really cool, showing like how they are creating those episodes in real time, like every week. And I think Big Brother is doing the same thing, but with like 3 episodes a week. And I think it's just such a huge undertaking, and getting to see like some of the behind the scenes of the team that's building the wall, the woman that's doing the costumes. Like, I find that really fascinating. And then getting this commentary in real time from people who know the game from such different angles. Like Taylor and Derek's experience and awareness in the game is so different. And I love that they have Chelsea, a part of the draft every week. I've just had a really fun time watching it, like truly. And I feel I'm frustrated at anyone thinking like I'm part of a sales pitch for the show. I just really like it as a fan. I'm like, it's more Big Brother without me having to watch the live feeds, which, you know, sometimes you just don't have time to do. And yeah, and getting to see stuff that, like, you know, you might not get to see is really cool.
Well, I'm curious. Some fans, they want to see past Big Brother players on instead of the celebrities. Would you want to see the celebrities, or you like seeing past players on it as the guest?
Personally, I think I like the celebrities, and I can say that as someone who, like, you know, I'd love to be on the show for sure, to come to Unlocked, but like seeing Lance Bass, seeing I'm blanking out on the other 2 people's names that were there.
Jerry O'Connell.
Yeah, Jerry O'Connell. I've loved it. And Boston, like, I love seeing input from outside of the normal Big Brother community. Like, these people, the Big Brother fans who really have opinions, they're already sharing them on social media. So, like, I don't necessarily need to see all of their opinions if they, you know, since they're already sharing them. Whereas, like, these people, you know, I mean, seeing how excited Lance was about this show, like, I think that's so cool. Like, he's obviously lived such this incredible life, but he was so giddy there. And it's just, you know, that humanizing element and that excited element. And I love to see examples of people being excited about something and passionate about something, because I feel like we hit this weird period that I think we're getting out of, where in like society it was like not cool to be excited about something. And I love to see, you know, people who a lot of people look up to being excited and giddy about something fun. And, you know, maybe Big Brother is nerdy or silly, and it's not for everybody, but like the people that love it, we love to engage with other people who love it. And so I think I'm a fan. I'd love to see more of it. Yeah.
And some fans think that Celebrity Big Brother is going to be back this winter. Do you think this is CBS's way of promoting some of the celebrities that are going to be on Celebrity Big Brother?
Wow, that had literally not crossed my mind until you just said it right now. I'm cool with it. I personally, I have a little bit of personal bias because of my friend Todrick Hall's season. I don't like that they have the jury not sequestered. It's such a short time. I understand that's probably just part of the deal for the people they have to get, like, are not down to be out of touch that long if they get out of the game. But I think it also tarnishes the game. They changed that rule for Big Brother after, the icon Danielle Reyes season where you had somebody who was supposed to win, but people are influenced by their feelings and in a way that they wouldn't be if they were in the jury house. And so that's my only gripe with Celebrity Big Brother. Yeah, I mean, you see everybody leave that season. Like, Todrick's obviously going to win. He's running this whole house, and then they get influenced by people's opinions, and they vote differently. And so that was that left a bad taste in my mouth as far as that part of the game. But once again, it could be fun to see some people that in another space interact in this environment. So I'm down for it. That'd be cool. I can't even think right now of who I'd want to see, but more Big Brother is usually fun.
So less than 2 weeks out from the finale, who is your winner pick at this point? If you had to put it down, who's going to win this season?
Less than 2 weeks out, I see. Well, first off, I hope that there's no more eliminations and just votes for evictions. But I mean, it looks like Vince and Morgan are the most poised to be the winner of the season so far. I am rooting for Keanu over them at this point. I think I've felt very strongly that, like, if Keanu was a woman or, like, a smaller stature man in the house, it would probably be a lot more obvious to people that he went through significant periods of, like, being bullied. And I don't make character judgment for the people in the house, because I think, and even Taylor's mentioned this for her own season, like, she's encountered so many people like, I would have stood up for you, I would have done that, and 90% of those people wouldn't have. You think you would, but then you're in that environment, it's groupthink, it's mob mentality, and you don't realize that you're doing it wrong, that you're doing something wrong when you're there. Like, we saw what happened with that situation with Ava when nobody was clapping for him. Like, people were talking about it prior to us seeing the episode on the live feeds. People had clips that were sharing with me that were like, oh, they were talking about it like he blew up on her in the house. And then we watched him calmly, like, obviously with a little bit of attitude, but calmly say, like, hey, I believe you have a prompt. And everyone had the recollection. And the thing is, I don't think they were lying. I think that they had lied to themselves. They had convinced themselves, because he had become a house target. He had become ostracized by the people in the house. So they were really able we're really good at rewriting our memories in the ways that are convenient to us. And it's very human to do. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a weak person. It just makes you human. And we don't like to question our own thoughts and own beliefs on things. So especially when you have, like, high stakes environment, vested interest. So I would love to see him come back from that and end up a winner. And I don't mind, him comp beasting his way to the end, because like I said, if he did it as strategy, more power to him, because he said it early. I appreciate when somebody calls out early, like, yo, this is what I'm going to do. And then B, we have the dude in Canada. I can't remember his name right now. It's killing me. But BB Canada, there was a player, and I didn't watch the season. I want to, but I heard that he was just powering through competitions, and he did some posts. He's like, yo, no alliance. I just pure willed my way to the end.
Kevin Martin.
Oh, is that no? After Kevin, no. The guy just was winning comps. Ty. Yeah, okay. And I was just like, more power to him. Here's the only thing I would say is just articulate something that you did in the game. And I feel like something Keanu did that he could credit to his social game and strategy game is that he did make this relationship with Rachel to where it feels like she would be someone who would vote for him. And I do think that whoever Rachel votes for is probably going to win the game. So I can only imagine her influence in the jury house. So yeah, I would love to see a Keanu win. And then I don't know, after that, maybe, I do feel like, yeah, Vince has I've seen him have more influence than the other players. So like you've seen multiple times players who are saying, I don't want to do this, but because of Vince, they are. And, so the game is a big game of influence and he has it. And so I can understand his win. Although personally, I would love to see Morgan win over Vince. And everyone else, like I said, if they can get to the end, make some moves in between now and then that can eclipse the moves of those three I just mentioned, I totally support them. More power to them. The end game is important. But yeah, that's the order I'd say for me.
And what about America's favorite player? Who do you think could you see winning that?
Once again, I don't like the unfair advantage Rachel has. She already has name recognition. She already had like she is an icon and that's amazing. But like then it means that she already went in with the fan base that these other people didn't have. And like I said, her presence overshadows their gameplay and personalities. So I think she most likely will win. And like I said, on a personal level, I'm happy for her to get it, especially with the way she got eliminated. That sucks. So it's somewhat of a consolation prize. But I would love to see Captain Will win. He just seemed like such a stand-up guy. Not say other people aren't, but he really took things in stride. I wish he thought a little bit more in that fine. I feel like he kind of gave them permission when it was him and Ashley. He gave them permission to vote him out guilt-free. And so I would love to see the fight, but also I understand. He's like a dad. He's like, how am I going to, push hard against someone who reminds me of one of my kids? And so I respect it. I understand it. He just seemed like such a fun energy. And I would love to see him get America's favorite personally.
But you mentioned the fan base Rachel had coming in. We saw in season 25 that Suri had her fan base coming in, and she didn't win America's favorite. So anything could happen.
No, absolutely. I don't even know who won America's favorite player that season.
Cameron.
Oh, okay. Cameron. Yes. For sure. And Cameron had the battle back as well. So I think that's something that plays a role for sure. But yeah, it is who knows? True. We'll see.
So is there anything else about this season that you wanted to say before we get into you and your season a little bit?
No, I feel like we covered it all.
So how did you end up on Big Brother in the first place? What's your casting story?
Well, I wasn't like a lifetime fan of Big Brother. I didn't watch it for my first time, like I said, until season 20. That was like when was that? 2018.
Yeah.
My best friend who'd been watching the show for almost his whole life. We'd been friends for like a decade. He'd been trying to get me to watch. I was like, I don't watch reality TV. I'm not going to watch this show. After about 10 years, I finally was like, all right, I will check out this show. What is it? And he, excuse me. He ended up, oh, that's what I was like. I always remember specifically. I was like, all right, what day does it come on? He's like, 3 days a week. I was like, 3 days a week? What do you mean? But like, what? But literally the first episode I watched, I was like, wait, this is a game? Like, it clicked with me right away. I was like, this is a game. I love games. I'm such a fan of games. And he's like, yeah, I've been telling you. I was like, you've been telling me poorly because this is such a cool concept. And I started taking notes that very first week that I started watching and just fell in love with it and could see past all the silliness and the costumes and the corny aspects of so many corny aspects of the game. I really saw the strategy. I saw this game of people and influence and competition, and I loved all of that. So I started playing that year, and I applied 3 years in a row. In the third year, got the call from Jesse Tenenbaum that I was going to be part of the casting process, and it's months long, many hours and interviews and paperwork, and was fortunate enough to get on. And I will say, they actually do a good job of surprising you with the key. I always thought that the key reveal was like, I was like, this is like, how do you not know? There's a camera crew, all this. I can't get into the details, but they actually do surprise you. So I was legitimately shocked and I was blown away, and it was such a moment. And so that was how I got on.
What was your key reveal? I don't remember off the top of my head.
For my key reveal, I remember, we can leave in all this about me living with the people in Venice. So I'll just restart it. Oh, so for my key reveal, I remember I was living in Venice Beach at the time. And basically there's a large group of us that I had some friends that were like, hey, we're, COVID, it's 2021, the end of 2020, actually, they had reached out. They're like, we got down this big house. We're tired of being separated. What if we quarantine together? So we had like 15 people in this 10-bedroom house in Venice Beach. And, just live together, that we have some community during a crazy time. And one of these guys was John O'Brien. We became really close friends. And I remember they were like, hey, we're going to go film you guys doing a little workout. And I was like, cool, bet. So we went to go do the workout, and we were going to do some pull-ups. And they're like, okay, you guys are going to do some pull-ups. So they were like, okay, here's your lines. I'm going to tell... They're like, Kyland, you're going to say to John, hey, are you ready to do some quick pull-up sets? He's going to say, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, cool. So we're there, and we're at the pull-up bar, and I was like, all right, cool. We're going to do a few sets of pull-ups. Sound good? And he was like, and it was like stuttering. And I was like, in my head, I'm like nervous by this point because I really want it so bad. And I'm like, John, are you messing this up for me? Like in my head, I'm just like, if we don't get this scene right, they're going to just give up on me and think that and leave. So, it's crazy thought. But at the time I was worried about that. So we try it like 3 times, and I'm like, all you have to do is say, let's do it. I'm good. That's it. So then on like the 3rd or 4th try, he's like, actually, we can't do the pull-ups because you got to go to the Big Brother house, and pulls out the key from like his pocket. And I was like, yo, I was not ready, truly, because I didn't know they had like talked. They were sneaky about it, so that was the key reveal for me, and they really got me, and so the surprise is all genuine, and that was a really fun moment.
So looking back on your season, you came up just short. Do you have any regrets in your gameplay or anything on the show?
I don't like the word regret, because I think that. I'm such a believer in like the butterfly effect, and I always say I'm fortunate enough to believe that everything happens for a reason. So I think about, I'm like, if I regret something, then that means I regret what's happening today and what happens in the future. So I'm thankful for everything that's happening today and has happened since. So I wouldn't say I regret it exactly. Of course, like I'm critical of like my eviction, as far as not saying the words that I wanted to say, and that resulted in like someone that I care about, that I do respect, being highly disrespected by what I said and feeling that way. And so I feel like that is something I wish I had known. And at the time, it was so crazy, because in my head, I thought I said something differently. Like I had the situation playing out differently in my head, that I didn't even realize that I had misspoke for what was actually in my head. So that for sure, was something I look back and like, I wish I'd done this differently. Like I can't say regret, because, it's just such a big impact of my life and opportunity for growth and all these things. But as far as the gameplay wise, once again, it's the same thing. It's like, I wanted to be with the best at the end, and it's hard not to look back and see, Tiffany Mitchell as potentially, not just the best in her season, but one of the best to ever play the game. And, so that, as someone who was really interested in wanting to get the best at the end, I wish that I had, been able to facilitate, her getting to the end of the game. But at the same time, I also asked her, I was like, who's the bigger competition between you and Xavier? And she didn't realize I was crazy enough to actually want my competition at the end, even though I told her that. I was like, no, I want the best at the end. And very reasonably, she thought that I was like everyone else, and really was just lying about that, because I don't think anybody besides me and Cody Calafiore actually means that and is okay with having our competition at the end. Like he was in 16, but then he was smart enough in 22 to change that. So it was I feel like that was a that's something where I'm like, oh man, I wish that she could have had all the. I feel like she has gotten so her flowers for from the fan base. They know respecting the game and America's favorite player and all the things. So those are the only things I think of like really stand out. But like I'm just so thankful for everything that happened in the game. It was such a fun experience, and I think it's yeah, and I was able to grow so much from it, and yeah, all of it was just so amazing.
So how do you rank Xavier compared to other winners? Do you think he's a good winner, a mid winner?
No, I think Xavier's a great winner. I think that we had, I mean, I say in my life, the only thing I don't feel humble about is the Cookout, because it is the most dominant alliance in the history of the show, as far as like controlling the game and what happened and all 6 of us making it to the end. Despite like, yeah, it's great to have the votes, but moving, especially early on, moving 6 people forward in that game is way harder than moving 1 person in the game forward. And I think Xavier is such a huge part of that, as everyone in Cookout was. So I feel like, yeah, I think that, and he is just such a multi-talented individual. I mean, he's smart, he's strong, he's all the things that you feel like. Yeah, so Xavier's someone who has many strengths, and that make him a good Big Brother player and a good social player in general for these games, and also maintaining his secret of, like, we knew he was something, but we didn't, Derek Frazier had the guess of him being a lawyer. I remember I was pretty convinced that he was law enforcement, but I was wrong. And but yeah, Derek Frazier had it right in guessing that he was a lawyer, and I think that was still impressive though for him to maintain that secret throughout the game. So yeah, I think that it was. I mean, he's an impressive individual as a whole. So.
Do you think that Ashley could have a similar reveal when if she makes it to the final 2, that she's a lawyer and she wins the game like Xavier?
I think that Ashley definitely could have a similar reveal, and I would love to see Ashley suddenly make some moves and get herself to the end of this game and take the win, because like I said, I really respect things that are done intentionally. So people, may see Ashley as not a threat, but she was very intentional about saying, like, hey, I was playing this Elle Woods character to make people not see me as a threat, and it is effective. Like, I didn't, until I had that revealed to me from the fans and from Unlocked, where I believe that they did like a deep dive in it. I didn't know that I was just like, oh, she's not really a threat in this game. She seems like such a sweet girl. But then when I found that out, I was like, hey, she's doing that really well. And so if she can, like I said, make some moves and get herself to the end of the game, then that's going to be incredibly impressive. So I would love to see that happen.
And what about Tiffany winning America's Favorite Player? Was that something that surprised you, or you knew that America would love Tiff?
Oh, we knew it was going to be like DX or Tiffany for sure. So it was not even the least surprising. And like I said, I was glad for her to get, that extra recognition for just how incredible of a player she was as a whole.
And I want to get your opinion on if you thought that your season was a steamroll, because a lot of people see that your season was boring and it was a steamroll, but I don't think it was a steamroll, because your alliance didn't win all the HOHs, right? So the season before, season 22, the All-Star season, that the dominant alliance, they won every competition. So I think your alliance was the best ever, and it wasn't a steamroll at all, because you guys didn't dominate the competitions necessarily.
I would say in terms of competition, it was not a steamroll. And I think that, but in terms of influence and deciding what happened, it effectively was. And I feel like because of not having all the competition wins, that's what makes us the best alliance ever. Because we, I think most Big Brother fans will agree, it's not all about the competitions. That's not the only metric you should measure. So at the end of the day, it's like, can you influence a game to make what you want happen? And for us to have so many HOHs that we did not win and still control the vote every single time, to where we knew all but, 1 vote until we got to final 6, like how every single person voted in the house, felt like we dominated the game in terms of influence and power. And especially in those weeks where we were not in power. And I feel like that is what, solidifies our spot as being as good as we were. And as a player, you want, like, as a fan, you want the game to be as exciting as possible and unpredictable as possible. As a player, you hope it's boring. I'm like, I hope that nobody likes this season, because it's just obvious that we're going to win and do all the things. And so and also I've had so many people too, once again, it's such a game of perspective as far as what you're excited about or not, because I had so many people that loved watching the steamroll. Like, if you're watching your, if you're, when I watch Super Bowl, I don't really have a team. So I'm just very much like, I just want a good game. But like, if I do have a team, let them win by as many points as possible. And a lot of people felt that way. People that were supportive of the Cookout loved to see us, have that much influence throughout the game. So, yeah, I'm really excited and grateful that it was able to play out that way.
So what was your favorite part of the whole Big Brother experience?
I really couldn't pick like a single moment, but because it's like my first HOH win, my first veto win, those moments are huge, it's such a thing. But then I think I actually, unfortunately, I don't remember the exact day now, but I think it was like day 57 or something where we had the Cookout all meet in the same room for our very first time and celebrate. And then our Cookout make it to Final Six. Like, those were just these epic moments. So as corny as it sounds, it really was like the best takeaway from the game was the friends I made along the way. Like, I have really good friends from our season. And the Cookout's just like family. Like, we have a group chat that still is active probably a couple times a week to this day. And it's really beautiful to celebrate. I mean, Christian's in college now, and Tiffany's son, and we get those updates, and we really feel like invested, like that's some of our family, and that's really cool. So I'm thankful for those relationships, this extended family that I have.
So who are all those relationships? Who do you still keep in touch with from your season?
Well, I do like to brag that Big Brother 23 is the only season. I'm pretty sure still. I don't think 26 did. But no other season has all 16 players in one group chat. So that's like something like, if that ever changes, I'm going to be devastated, because I proudly talk about this fact all the time. But I like to think that it was because we create an environment very intentionally in our house where, like I said, it's easy to villainize one another because you want to win, and you're going to have to betray these people at some point, or most of them. So you are looking subconsciously to villainize them. And I remember we had open conversations about catching that early, so that way we didn't villainize each other, at least minimized it. So we were able to leave the game. And then also, I think the Cookout as a whole and what we represented reminded everybody that this is just a game. There's things that are so much bigger and more important. So let's get past all the petty differences. And I think we did that when the show ended. We were able to see that, and that's why we have this connection. So everyone's connected. It's not like that group chat's going off daily or anything. It's more like, happy birthday and like life updates and stuff like that. But like I said, it's more like an extended family. But then outside of the Cookout, who I said, we talk every week in our group chat. There's also me and DX. DX is my guy, like, for life. Like, he put that he I don't know, he was the very first person I saw. We were the very first people that we saw, because as we were walking to go into the house, like, you're kept in these green rooms, and we walk out in the hallway, and we had not seen any other cast at this point. We walk out in the hallway, and then we take off these blindfolds, or we don't have the blindfolds this time. We have the blindfolds to go into the green room. To get out, we don't have the blindfolds. We walk out, and we look, and we see each other. And I was like, yo, this dude, I like him. I like his energy. And then, and that just stuck. And so I was just literally with him last weekend in Vegas. We had some time just to catch up and hang out and do a little bit of work stuff. But just, yeah, that's a brother for life for sure. And then Alyssa Lopez, she's just like, truly like more family. Like, I'm just so proud of her. She's been able to build a new business, like working in this content social media world. And I'm like, and Brittany D'Angelo has just been so amazing. Like, when I got my diagnosis for autism spectrum disorder, like, she's just was her and her family, just so supportive, so kind. And it was really beautiful. And I'm just and she's just such an inspiration for me and so many others. And then I try and check in on everybody else, just everyone's living their lives. Everybody's moved all over, but I've tried to. I got CSV a couple of years ago when I was in Florida, and then Christian was out here for a little bit, and we got to hang out a couple of times. So I, trying to keep in touch with everybody, but like those the ones I mentioned earlier are the ones I've been fortunate enough to get to see the most.
And we've seen a lot of your cast come back and do other reality shows, but who hasn't come back yet that you want to see come back? Is it like Frenchie or Christian, Brittany, Big D? SB?
I know. I mean, it is. SB has no interest. Christian wants to do acting, like, and he should. He's just he has a star face, and like I would love to see him acting. And I know he already has had some really cool opportunities, so I want him to keep doing that. For me, number one, Derek Frazier. He is he's a personality. Like, it blows my mind that he's not in more things. Like, and also he just is funny and so much himself. Like, he's not afraid to upset anybody. But he has such a kind heart too. So he's sassy, but he's kind. And he's been so inspiring lately. I mean, I think he's dropped 100 pounds. He's been just committed to, getting himself healthy and not smoking. And I know because he was a smoker, and I used to always get on him about that. And he's just, decided, he's like, I want to improve my life. I want to improve myself for myself. And if it comes with opportunities, great. But like, he's just on this path. And so I'm just like, he needs some opportunities or something, because he is just, like I said, such a personality. And so, like I said, inspiring and funny and all the things. So I better see him somewhere soon.
But would you play Big Brother in, Kyland, if you got the opportunity?
I definitely would, because like I said, I love the game. I think that when people ask me like, oh, should I apply? I'm like, no. If you say, should I apply? I'm going to tell you no, because the possible downsides are so high. It's such a mentally, emotionally traumatic experience in a way that you cannot understand without doing it. But it can also be so rewarding if you love it. So if you have a love of the game, you're like, I have to do this. I want to do this so bad more than anything. I'm like, absolutely, go for it. Do it. Apply again and again, like so many people have, and go after it. But me, myself, yeah, I would do it anytime. Like I said, I would genuinely rather it not be with newbies. Like I don't want to be in this Rachel or Paul or even like 18, like where there's 4 of us situation. But if it's like an all-star season or something like that, I would love to be a part of that. So I love the game.
And what about the challenge? You're not on the challenge 41 right now, but should we expect you back soon on the challenge?
I'm not in charge. That that's not really up to me. But I love the game, and it seems I'm a manifester, so I'm calling it out that I will be back in the challenge, and the next season I'm on, I'm gonna win. So I love that game also, and it's so fun. And that's what I would say. The challenge is, let's see what happens.
And who from Big Brother do you want to see do the challenge?
I mean, like I said, Derek Frazier, if he wants to, I would love to see him. And then I haven't been keeping track really, like in my head, like people that are standing out from the last couple of seasons. I'd say whoever wants to, kind of, from the last couple of seasons, like, if a Chelsea or Cam wanted to, like, more power to them. I support it. I'm sure there's others that I just aren't coming to mind. But
the 2 big ones for me are Tucker and Keanu.
Oh yes, Tucker for sure. Tucker would be fun, and Keanu absolutely, and Morgan. I think Morgan would be a fantastic challenger. So I'd love to see any of them on them. I'd love to compete with them. I'd love to compete against them. I love competing, period. And so we'll see. And I'm catching up still, but I've been watching season 41. And I love to see Cedric in this game in America. Unfortunately, Blue went out early, but I love to see those remaining pushing and staying strong in the game. So I'm excited to see what happens to them as well.
And I wanted to briefly touch on the Amazing Race. So what can you can't say much, but what can you tease about what fans can expect for the Amazing Race this season?
I would say that the Amazing Race lives up to its name. It's an amazing experience. The production staff team is just incredible. And it's so unique too, because I feel like the funny thing about like Big Brother and the challenge is that like, you know, you're really cooped up in these spaces. People are really in charge of your movements. And the Big Brother I'm gonna separate because it's isolation on its own in a way that is so hard to fully articulate. But even the challenge, like, you know, you in a way you're kind of like moved around like children with people always telling you what to do, like, you know, where you can go at what time. And you're just like, I wish people would stop telling me what to do. And the Amazing Race is like the opposite. You're like, please, someone tell me what to do, please. Like, because you are truly on your own and you have to figure out everything. And the people that you're interacting with are just people in the world. It's not like you have tons of actors and guardrails. You're just interacting with other human beings who are confused about why you guys are in matching colors and running around with a camera, if that. And they're more confused than they are even, like, it's not like they're fascinated and excited even. They're just like, what's going on? Like, I'm just trying to go about my day and you guys are in the way. So it's such a wild experience, but amazing, like, truly. And yeah, I'm excited to watch because you are not really like alongside the other like teams. You're playing the game, just you and your partner. And so you don't get to see what everyone else went through. So I'm just excited because I know so many of these people already. So I want to see like what's everyone else's experience in the game. What was it like? And yeah, I'm really excited to watch.
Yeah, you and Taylor are definitely the team that I'm most rooting for. But I'm curious if you can
Thank
say
you.
like how did it end up as you and Taylor when everybody else it was just, you know, their loved one? How did it end up with you and Taylor, if you can say at this point?
Well, because what's it called? I was her loved one. It was basically it was really just a matter of like putting together people with someone who they were really close to as a partner. And Taylor and I had dated in the past, something we were, you know, very and still are very private about, like our personal lives. And we're not together right now, but we really saw that this game could be an opportunity to work on our communication relationship in a unique way. And I think it'll be really fun to see how it all plays out for everybody. And she remains someone that I just still love and care about so much. And I'm excited for everyone to get to watch.
So what show is next for you after The Amazing Race? Do you want to complete the CBS trifecta and do Survivor? Do you want to do The Traitors? What's next for you after Amazing Race?
Oh gosh. So I haven't watched enough Survivor, truly. I've seen a handful of seasons and I like it, but I haven't watched enough to become like a raving fan of Survivor. And I know that the show is great. Like I talk, you know, to so many people to not feel like it is an amazing opportunity, but I just haven't gotten to invest the time to watch it yet. So I'd love to become more of a fan before I really decide if that's something I'll toss my hat into the ring for. And who knows if they'd let me, but like, you know, if I really fall in love with it, then I would do it. I love Traitors. I'm a big fan because I've always liked the game Mafia. It's, you know, very similar. It would be really fun. And then Destination X as well. Sounds like a cool concept. Deal or No Deal Island, I actually haven't seen, but from what people have told me that I should watch it and I would like it. So those are the ones that stand out. But at the end of the day, like I'm happy to take on any of those new opportunities and I would love to. The challenge is probably closest to my heart right now, just because, you know, but it's also the experience that I've had in it. I think it just, and I feel like I got a bone to pick to go in and get that win. So we'll see what happens.
Do you just want the one win in the challenge and you'd feel fulfilled, or after you won one, you still keep going?
Oh, no. I very explicitly want to be the greatest challenger of all time. Like I want to have, you know, 4 in a row like Darrell. I want it to, like, I think that my heartbreak in losing 40 was that I was in a final one-on-one, or not one-on-one. I was in, my biggest heartbreak in season 40 was that I was in a final where I got to compete as an individual against Jordan and Bananas, who, and Derek, obviously phenomenal competitor. You got second, like killed it. But Jordan, Bananas are like the names of the challenge besides CT, I guess. They're like the two of the most iconic players ever, the most wins ever with Johnny. And then you have, some of the best track record of wins among the male players with Jordan. So for me, I was like, okay, like if you win against Jordan and Johnny in a final that's individual, no partners, it's undeniable. It's an undeniable great win. And so I was really excited for that. Unfortunately, I just, I hadn't prepared well enough for the moment. Like I did prepare swimming. I like to tell people I can swim. I did prepare, but I didn't learn the technique for that distance. And that distance was just so overwhelming. And it sucked because like my endurance was there. I wasn't getting tired. I just didn't have the skill to be able to move through the water well. So it was pretty devastating. And so that made me eager. I'm like, I don't want to come back and win. I want to come back and win and dominate the game. So that way, like it's known, like, okay, cool. Like this is, one of the best to ever play, if not the best to ever play. And and I think I know I can do it. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully the game is around long enough for me to have that opportunity. And like I said, the next time I'm there, I'm going to win and I'm not going to waste it.
So have you practiced the swimming since then? So if you're another swimming final, you're going to be more prepared?
My only official statement is that, I don't believe in swimming. I've only gotten worse at swimming. And, I'll just hope that there's no swimming and we'll see what happens.
And do you have any?
I don't need my enemies to know anything more about me.
And do you have any upcoming projects or events that you'd be excited to share with your fans? Obviously, The Amazing Race. I'm sure you have a premiere party coming up for that as well.
Yeah, so we have a premiere party for The Amazing Race. I am very excited about that. Also, I have I've started doing like some speaking stuff. So I'm working with this organization called the Sojourn Project. And the Sojourn Project is the longest running civil rights education organization in the country. They've been recognized by, the late Representative John Lewis, who's a civil rights activist icon, as well as like the Obamas and several other in Congress and so many others. So I am very excited. I'm actually this week flying out for like my first event. I'm going to go speak at this school, kind of talk about the intersectionality of being a minority, a person of color, and neurodivergent. And I've talked to the founder and people who run the organization, and they're really excited for like this just to be the beginning. Something I'm very passionate about. I love talking about like justice because I really think that justice. There's a quote that someone says: "Justice is what love looks like in public." And so I think it's very important in a time of so much division to spread education about what justice is and what it means and how we can close the gaps in some of this division. It's just something I'm very passionate about and excited to be a part of in this way and to see where that takes me. So, and also like, I've gotten to speak once again, just on the neurodivergent side for like some employee research groups. I just did a talk today. So I love connecting with people and speaking, at events and even whether it's in person or virtual and connecting with people in that way is something I'm passionate about doing more of. And like I said, especially in terms of, social action and justice. And so those are things to say, looking out for. I'm still, we got the race and I still am watching the current season of The Challenge and Big Brother. And I actually do live streaming pretty much every day. I'm on TikTok Live, as you know, and people can find me there and we talk about the shows in life and so many other things. So I always tell people Kyland Young on TikTok, pretty much every night you can find me there and love to engage. So, and then Instagram, just Kyland Young. And so that's where we can find me. And that's what I'm excited about.
All right, Kyland, thank you so much. I'm glad we were finally able to make this happen. It was a pleasure to catch up, get your insights in the game, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the race real soon.
Absolutely, Josh. Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be a part of Big Brother Spoilers podcast. And thanks for following up so we can make this happen.